What's up, everybody? Welcome to More Trades. Welcome to a live stream. We haven't done this in a while. If anyone's here, thank you for passing through. For you who are watching the replay, thank you for watching it. We're going to go through the charts and look at this interesting price action that's been happening for the past week. We're going to look at Solana, Bitcoin, possibly Ethereum, and some other coins. What I find interesting with Solana is that it's been moving very clearly and very nicely if you look at it as an Elliott wave structure. We'll get deep down in it and analyze and give you the possible next targets for Solana, so you can know where this move up may retrace down. We are at a significant level, which is 25.731. I gave you the $26 target a while back, but yeah, we wicked above it to 26.676. Now looking at Solana on the 4-hourly, I'll show you what I can see, and you do what you want to do. But how I see it is, and I'm going to show you how I came out with this conclusion. So this was the wave 1 up, this was a wave 2 down. This entire move was wave 3, 4, and 5. You can see clearly in this wave 3 you had a 1, 2, 3, and a small pullback for 4 and a 5 up. Now that matches very well with the Fibonacci levels. If I put this aside and you look at that, this was the beginning of the 3 up, I said, and if you bring that from up here to the end of wave 3, you can see the wave 4 came to the 0.382 over here. Yeah, you can see the wave 4 came below the 0.236, and actually this is the big wave 3. So you look at it like this, you can see that the wave 4 came into the 0.382, perfect retracement for wave 4, and now we're going in the 5th. So yeah, that's for wave 4 for this big wave 3, and then once we complete this 5th wave, we might be coming down for a retracement. But for now, I'm going to give you a target for this 5th wave up, and the way you take the target, you take the trend base fib, and it depends. Now you can measure it from the length of wave 1. We take it from the bottom of 1 to the top of 1, bring it to the bottom of the big 4, and you see we came to the 1-to-1 extension. That is a good retracement for good extension for wave 5. It can be done and over with, but it looks like it has a bit more legs to the upside. Now looking at that, comparing it with wave 1, you have two possible targets. You have the 1-to-1 and you have the 1.618. Of course you can extend, but these are the textbook targets if you compare it to a wave 1. Now look at those targets. Now if you want to compare it to the wave 3, you take it from the bottom of this wave 3 to the top of wave 3 to the bottom of wave 4, and you take the 0.618. The 0.618 would be here, 28, and then you take the 1-to-1, that would be somewhere here. Yeah, now those targets have built a zone for me. Now for me as a trader, if Solana starts getting into this zone, I know that this is possibly a reversal zone, and if this is really a wave 1 up and we're going to have a retracement for a 2 and a 3 upwards, a bigger 3, and this is the beginning of the bull run, then I'll be interested in entering Solana on the retracement. I'll say this was a 1. If this was a 1, I'm expecting a 2 down, then a 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. But how far will this 2 go? Well, that's very simple. Now I missed the long entry. I didn't take the long entry, and maybe many of you haven't. So I'll just get rid of these lines. No, I'll keep them now. I missed the long entry. So what do? You say, okay, if this is really a bull run and this is just a wave one up, then there should be a wave two. It depends where this wave stops. So I say I like the 32 zone because I also have some horizontal resistance. So I'll bring it all the way 32. Yeah, I'll bring it to 32. I like that zone. And I say if Solana gets to 32, then my reversal zone where I can enter long, anticipating the bigger wave 3, is between this zone, between the $20.4 and the 17.4. This will be a zone. So if you enter at 20, you're free to miss the move. You need to have your stop loss below the 17 because there's a good chance Solana can go all the way to even the 13. The 0.786 isn't very far-fetched. Sometimes in crypto the wave 2s go into the retracement almost the 1-to-1, so it's a very risky trade. But this is the reversal zone. You could go in light, and as price drops a bit, you add to your light. So you don't add your big position at $20. You could add a small position, then you scale in as you move lower. But there is always the risk that this was just a corrective wave up and we're coming down. So yeah, that's for Solana. Looking at this in the sense of this is my reversal zone, and now I have my buy zone, my possible buy zone over here. Let me just mark it out in green. I have a possible zone of interest over here. It's a very wide range, very wide. So you better be able, willing to take that drawdown if price starts dropping. But Solana has made a clear wave movement to the upside. I mean, it's really nice how it's moving. It's quite clear what it wants to do. And that will bring us down to these levels again, probably the POC at 13 or the value area high at 18.6, between these two targets for Solana. Now I want to get rid of everything in the chart, just have a clean chart, and let's just look at it like that. Looking at the price action, look at it, it's beautifully moving out, but it still hasn't taken up the November highs, like the FTX drop high like Bitcoin did. We're still way below that, and on the weekly time frame we are getting there. As you know, Bitcoin is above this level, so Bitcoin is leading somewhat the November drop. So this is Solana. Now looking at the daily, volume has been increasing, but we have less volume. It's a weekend, so we could expect, well, I expected last week to be a crappy weekend, but we did pump crazily last weekend. Now next zone of interest, just looking at this, I have my 233 EMA at $37 on the 4-hourly. So that's even a higher target than I expected. Well, we don't have to go there. We didn't visit the 233 on the daily. We could visit it ever since it was, yeah, on the futures chart. We didn't have the 233 till April, so we never tested it on the futures chart. On the regular chart, we possibly had a test over there. Let's go down and look at Solana over here. Solana USD. Yeah, we tested it over here. The last time we really tested it was in April 2022. These are Fibonacci channels. At the moment we are at the 1-to-1 Fibonacci, but I don't expect much. But as you see, last time we were ranging around here. I don't really expect much from this level. I would further prefer higher Fibonacci levels, but this is a 1-to-1. It could cause some disturbance for Solana for now. but I know if we come down here we might get support again. I still have those targets between $5 to $7 and between $8 and $9, but $5 to $7 is still in the chart. It could still play out. We're not out of the woods. For Solana to be out of the woods, we need to at least start getting above the 38. Then we can start talking about the 48. Then after that would be the 59 to 50, 58, 59 region. Yeah, that's for Solana. We can move to the next one now. I want to look at Bitcoin. There is something that no one is showing you. Actually, I don't think so. Anyone in the space is looking at. I haven't seen people looking at this chart, but I'll just show it now. We were essentially below. Now these Fibonacci channels as well. You see the 1-to-1, we are above it. Let me get rid of this. This is Bitcoin on the weekly. We are currently above the 400, 300. We are above the 400, 300, and 250 EMA. And where is the 200? Wait, the 200 EMA is way up there, 25.81. Yeah, you see the 50 and the 200 were about to cause a bearish cross. They have crossed ever so slightly, just $1, but it may get erased. I told you that we might have a fake out. It doesn't have to necessarily continue this fake out. You know, it could show that we're having a bearish cross, but nevertheless it continues pumping. It seems I'm having issues with the stream. I apologize. Something wrong with my connection, not the stream actually. I don't know what's up with the connection. It's not going so well, but yeah. Yeah, so back to it. I hope that sorted it out. Anyways, so yeah, we have the 400 that we were below for a while, and now we're back above the 400, we're above the 300, we're above the 250, and we're currently at the 250. That is the 233 and the 200 up next. So yeah, so we need to keep our eyes on these levels. 200 and 233 on the weekly will be an important zone for Solana, and that is between the 25.81 and the 23.698. So when Solana gets to Bitcoin gets to 23.7, that will be a critical point. As you see last time when we hit it, we wicked above it and we sold off very hard in August. Bitcoin on the weekly, it seems I'm still having issues with the connection. I apologize for that. Probably you'll watch the replay. Yeah, on the 4-hourly, we are above all these EMAs on the 4-hourly, so nothing bearish on the 4-hourly. We are flaring out, but on the weekly we still have that. Though it's a small bearish cross, it's not significant. We're just $1. The 50 went below by $1 from the 200, but it is happening. Let's see how it goes. That's Bitcoin for me. I'm looking at other stuff. This is what I wanted to show you. We have these EMAs, and Bitcoin in its history has never opened and closed below the 400, but we spent so many weeks below that, and now we just exploded upwards. I was expecting us to go even lower. I had this target around the 13k zone. Well, now it's at the 14,200. The 30, this is 500 EMA. It seems the connection is slow. How is the connection? If you're watching this, just let me know in the chat. How is the connection? It seems that it's a bit laggy from my side. I do apologize, but I have to deal with it some other time. At the moment, I'll just continue the stream. So we were supposed to, I was expecting us to go down to the 500 EMA, where we could have some good bounce from it, but no, we didn't. Now on this chart, I like to look at different charts, because I have things charted different ways on different chart. I have different information for my trades. Nothing interesting over here. Let me look at another chart. Yeah, nothing here. We have, I wanted to look at the RSVVB, the caterpillar. We need to note that despite that we are in a macro bearish trend, but a lot of indicators have flipped bullish, including the 2-week MACD, the true strength indicator, directional movement indicators. Some indicators have crossed bullish on high time frames, so we need to be aware of that. This is RSVVB. It shows volatility. You see over here, this was in somewhere in September before we got an explosion. We're still over expanded on the weekly. On the daily, if you look at it, we are also flared out, so we might have, after some time, we might cool down a bit and squeeze again and get another pump. That's the RSVVB. Now looking at some interesting things like the true strength indicator, true strength index on the weekly, we've got that bullish cross. And if you take the true directional indicator, it's also showing you TDI. I believe the TDI, no, not the TDI, the directional movement indicator. We got a bullish cross as well on the weekly. So you see the blue line has crossed the red line, the pink line, that's bullish. And over here on the weekly, see what happened here, we crossed. And if you look at the last time, this has crossed up even over here. When we crossed up, we were somewhere here before the El Salvador dump. Then we pumped to 69k. That's almost like what's that? We were somewhere here. Say the high was at around 45. We went all the way to 69. So it was a crazy pump. And now we're having the same thing. So some indicators, several indicators are pointing a bull run or some big pump incoming. But just to let you know that the market likes to give max pain, we might have a nice pump even to 40k. But what comes next is one of two things. Either we're going to dump very hard, or we can go down again another 80%, or this could be another rally and people are just thinking, no, this is a bull trap and a bull trap, but it is the beginning of the bull run. No one can tell you for sure. No one knows for sure. I can only show you what I see, and at the moment I see us moving up, and we have retraced. We are, let me go to my chart. We are at the 0.786, I believe, if we haven't broken above, and we are at the value area high. You see, I have this fixed range volume. We wicked above the value area high, and it is the retracement from the high over here, the 25k, to the low over here at 15,400 roughly. We are at the area of the 0.786 and are wicking the 0.786. So yeah, just keep that in mind. If we move above the 0.887, then it might tell you that we have further trend movement upwards. But yeah, but what could be happening here? This is a possibility that we only had a correction here, and this is a 1, 2, and we're coming for a big 3. That's a bearish scenario, and that big 3 could take us really deep. I don't think we could measure it. It might go to negative. Okay, the wave, if this is a 1, 2, 3 down, then that could take you essentially to my 500 EMA that I showed you in the other chart, or even lower. So that's a possibility. Now the bullish case over here, I want to show you both cases. The bullish case could take us up for Bitcoin. If this is the beginning of something, then we had a 1 to the upside, a 2 to the downside, and this wave 3 was completed somewhere here at 21k. Then what happened here, I wanted us to go down to retrace for 4. The wave 4 just barely touched the 0.236 zone. You see I had this marked out. We just kissed it and bounced off. Now I can tell you where this wave 5 is anticipated to go. Where do I think it could reach? This is the length of the wave 3. I'll take it. Wrong tool. Yeah, trend based fib over here. Now the trend based fib, so 1, 2, so the beginning of 3 was over here, to the end of 3 over here, and the low of 4. Now I compared it with wave 3, so the targets when you compare to wave 3 is between either the 0.618 and the 1-to-1. So it's possible the wave 3 can come all the way to 25,842. That is comparing it to wave 3. And if I compare it to wave 1, you have the length of wave 1 to the bottom of wave 4. You have other targets. You have the 1-to-1 and you have the 1.618. So that gives me this zone anywhere between the 23, which we hit the 1-to-1. So that can tell me that the wave 5 could be complete and we're done with this 5 wave move up. It could, but looking at Bitcoin, I feel one of two things is happening. Either the wave 3 hasn't completed, we're still not slowing down because of this move. I feel that the wave up isn't done yet, and that's even more bullish. Otherwise, we've reached our target, 23,349, and this is my zone. Essentially, I would be looking for a reversal. We came to 23,390, value area high, and I'll say, okay, that's it. I'm happy with this. I'm out of the trade and taking profit. This is a zone I would consider take profit if I was long on Bitcoin, because it's a possible reversal zone, value area high. We reached the Fibonacci extension for wave 5 for this 5 wave move up, and mind you, this 5 wave move up could just be an A, a B, expanded B, like it goes deeper than the A, and this is a C wave up. And when that happens, the next move, you've corrected ABC, you're going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside. So that is also a bearish scenario. So what I'm saying is that you can't know for sure. No one can tell you for sure, are we going up or are we going down, or what's happening in the market. The only thing for sure is, at the moment, the short trend is to the upside. The macro is down. Until we start trading above the 25 or 30k, then you want to look at macro. Then you take the EMA and you try to see not that. Let's get rid of these first, and that's not the indicator that I want. We have where's my indicator? That's not what I'm looking for. 55 EMA. At the moment we are above it on the daily, but on the weekly your macro resistance 55 EMA will be in that zone that I marked out at 25,755. So when you come to that zone, you know you have a macro moving average that was a problem of 42 to 48. That's a $6,000 move, maybe 25% or even more. Yeah, so at the moment you are at temporary resistance for Bitcoin. Can it go higher? Definitely can. Is this move supported by volume? Do we have any volume divergence? Is volume decreasing as we move up? I can't see that happening. Let me load it up. Let trading view load. Yeah, terrible connection. I apologize for that. I don't know what's happening. On the weekly, volume has been declining since September. Now we just got a glimmer of hope with volume spikes on the weekly. On the daily, let's look at our move up. How was volume performing on this move up? Was it increasing? Was it decreasing? I mean, things are not very clear. If you look, some declination in volume, but we have other indicators showing us that we are getting close to topping out. We are approaching topping out. And what do I mean? When you look at the RSI, we are like really overextended to the upside. And when I look at it on the weekly time frame, it's almost clear as day that we will start dumping. But the last time we had this, we could spike up some more before a dump. So when you see divergences, don't trade solely on divergences, because they don't play out. They don't have to play out directly. It's not like, oh, I have a divergence, I'm going to dump. So this was the divergence we had. I mean, at the moment, this is the divergence that we have on the weekly. You can see we have high on the RSI, and we have lower highs on price action. Now, on the daily, I wanted to show you something. Our high and 89.26 was our high. 89.26, let's that's 89.25, that's fine. And then if you go back in history and look, when was the last time we were there? It was over here, January 2021, 7th of January, and we had a, let's look at 7th of January, the week of 7th of January 2021. Actually, this is the daily, so it was at the peak over here. We had one more day, one more green day, see, 7th January 2021. So the peak was at 8th of January at the spike up, and after that we declined, we dumped. That was a 31% dump, and then we had a ripper. We went all the way up. Look at that. Look what happened next. This was 124%, so a 31% dump. From now, a 31% dump from Bitcoin will bring us below 16, around 16k. And then if you say from there you're gonna pump 130, let's go up 130%. That will take Bitcoin back to 37k region. So yeah, we're having a majority of signals pointing bullish, but I don't know if it's a wise idea to buy here. because what if it pulls down to here? We have a big insufficiency. This, I'll show you how far are we from the 50 EMA. This is a big distance. This is the 50 EMA on the daily at around 18,418. 18,418 is your 50 EMA on the daily. That's so far away. And if you go on the 4-hourly, it will be of course closer, but on the daily you're way overextended. On the 4-hourly it's at 21. On the weekly it's further up. So if you're going to trade on high time frames like the daily, then your 50 EMA is way far away, and we usually like to retrace back to put things back to normal, put things in balance. We go back to the 50 EMA. On the weekly, as I told you, it's at 25,067. Now that's it for Bitcoin. Solana, we need to keep in mind next week when we open the markets, what is this bad boy doing? What is the DXY doing? We are scarily, like, you can't look at that. The low is at 101.1139, and here was at 101.081. So 101.081 is very important for me on the DXY. Why? Because if the DXY comes here and decides to bounce off from here, then that will be very bad for the market. It will be bad. I won't exaggerate, say very bad, but as you can see, this is the last time where we bounced off to 114. It doesn't have to repeat itself, but essentially if the DXY breaks its support, we're coming down to below 100, and that would be bullish for the markets basically. And the traditional, the Nasdaq, when we open, tonight should be an interesting night, I believe. We have the weekly candle close in a couple of hours, and we may see volatility. As this week was green, let's see how the next week opens, and will it move the price higher, or is it going to be the next week is going to be a retracement week? We'll see what happens. I can't say much about this internet connection today. I don't usually have issues with it, but it's terrible. The weekly, let's go on the daily. You can see we're struggling at the POC. We finally got above it. We were there for about 3 to 4 days, I believe, on the Nasdaq. I was watching it while Bitcoin was kind of struggling or moving slowly. Yeah, you can see we were struggling at the POC over here, but we finally broke out. Okay, I think I'm going to speed up this stream because it's getting lengthy because of the internet connection. I'll just go quickly on Ethereum. Ethereum on the other hand, we are at a very important point where we sold off last time on the FTX debacle. That was at 1679.40, and we got to 1682, so we exceeded it, and we have clear divergence. I'll show you. This is bearish divergence, but as I said, divergences through experience don't always play out. Over here we had higher highs on price action, we had low highs on RSI. Divergence brought us down. This divergence brought us down, well, FTX brought us down, SPF, 36%. So we could drop down, but not necessarily, because the market, seeing that they're shifting, we could drop, but the markets are shifting. But at the moment we're having the same thing, bearish divergence. Of that, we are having bearish div. However, RSI, when you compare, we had a high over here. This candle closed at, you compare the close of the candle 1644, and this candle closed at 1659. So we have higher highs in price action, and RSI same thing, higher highs. So we have no divergence between these peaks yet. We have divergence over here. Another interesting apt coin, because it's been making crazy moves. Aptcoin has been making insane moves the past few days. Let's go on the daily, 4-hourly. Look at that. On the daily, let's look at the daily gains. This gain from Aptcoin was insane. It was maybe 30%. There you go. We had a 48%. That's crazy on one day. But these are altcoins. That's how they play. And the next day was another 28%. So if you just bought Aptcoin down here at this wick, you'd be stopped out, and then you say, okay, I'll go down and buy it when we get lower. This would be a massive gain for whoever got in. Look at that gain from down here to this peak over here. That's 336% gain on Aptcoin. Amazing, amazing, crazy coins. Some of these altcoins you can't really count clear waves, but looking at Aptcoin